Hare Krishna. मतलब इनको लगा रहता है कि ये भी
Hare Krishna. Am I audible to the devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please start Arambalo mein senses. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Pranam. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shivata Padagamulam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sa Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pesha Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Psarne Nirvishesha Shunvadi Pasat Desatarne Vanchakalpadruvaisa Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavane Bhu Vaishnavyo Namo Nama Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Nam Nigauti Nama हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपसा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते सप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विष्णुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिय नीलचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्याम जगन्नाथाय च नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। Hare Krishna. So we had done few verses of chapter 10 or no? No. Okay. So we'll start with chapter number 10. So verses 1 to 3 describe about Vidura's inquiries about Brahma's creation. 4 to 9 is the Lord Brahma, how he creates the 14 worlds. 11:13 to 13 describes about characteristics of time. And 14 to 30 is 10 divisions of creation. So we'll begin with Vidura's inquiries about Brahma's creation. Yeah, please read first 3 verses.
Arvind Charan Prabhuji. Arvind Charan Prabhuji, are you reading?
No, he's not reading.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
It was unmute, Prabhuji, sorry.
Okay.
Text 1. Shri Vidura said, O great sage, please let me know how the Brahma, the grandfather of planetary inhabitants, created the bodies of the living entities from his own body and the mind after the disappearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 2. O greatly learned one, kindly educate all my doubts and let me know of all that I have inquired from you from the beginning to the end. Text 3. Suta Goswami said, O son of Bhrigu, the great sage Maitreya Muni, thus hearing from Vidura, felt very much enlivened. Everything was in his heart, and thus he began to reply to the questions of one after another.
So in this way, he starts asking about further creation, and Sud Goswami says that because he is son of Bhrigu, Bhargav, so he is capable of understanding the knowledge. Who? Sonak Rishi. He addresses Sonak Rishi as Bhargav, that you are capable of understanding this particular subject matter, which is generally very difficult, because you are son of Bhrigu. And now we'll go to the next verses. So now Brahma's, how he creates the 14 world, is described. So please read 4th, 5th and 5th purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 4. The greatly learned sage Maitreya said, O Vidura, Brahma has engaged himself in penance for 100 celestial years as advised by the personality of Godhead and applied himself in devotional service to the Lord. Text 5. Thereafter, Brahma saw that both the lotus on which he was sitting, he was situated, and the water on which the lotus was growing were trembling due to a strong violent wind. Purpose. The material world is called illusory because it is a place of forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. Thus, one engaged in the Lord's devotional service in the material world may sometimes be very much disturbed by awkward circumstances. There is a declaration of war between the two parties, the illusory energy and the devotee, and sometimes the weak devotees fall victim to the onslaught of the powerful illusory energy. Lord Brahma, however, was sufficiently strong by the causeless mercy of the Lord, and he could not be victimized by the material energy, although it gave him cause of anxiety when it managed to totter the existence of his position.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's so.
long.
Yes, you can read this also. Yes, please continue.
Long penance and transcendental knowledge of self-realization matured, Brahma and practical knowledge, and thus he drank the wind completely along with the water.
Please read this purport also.
Hare Krishna. Lord Brahma's struggle for existence is a personal example of the continued fight between the living entities in the material world and the illusory energy called Maya. Beginning from Brahma down to this age, the living entities are struggling with the forces of material nature. By advanced knowledge and science and transcendental realization, one can try to control the material energy, which works against our endeavors. And in the modern age, advanced material scientific knowledge and penance have played very wonderful roles in controlling the powers of the material energy. Such control of the material energy, however, can be most successful carried out if one is a soul surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and carries out his order in the spirit of loving transcendental service.
Hari Hari. So you find the struggle of Brahmaji continues despite taking darshan of the Lord. So still he was seeing that the lotus in which he was sitting was tottering because of wind. It was moving like this very violently. And the water was also moving. So then Brahmaji was, it's like Brahmaji didn't say, hey, my dear Lord, what is the use of taking your darshan? Still troubles are there. So he didn't speak like that. Rather, because of his self-realization, he got powers by which he drank the wind and along with the water which was tottering here and there. So that is how Lord gives us knowledge by which we have to act. So war is always there between Maya and devotee. Maya will always pull us towards other side. And we may be having realization. Sometimes we have good kirtans, or no, we have good japa, or we're very absorbed in the scriptures, and we feel that's all, like this I will continue whole life, I'll go back to Godhead. And then maybe sometime even within hours, whole realization goes away. Again the mind starts disturbing, again the troubles start coming. So in this way there is struggle for everyone. Struggle is there for everyone. So then how does Lord help? Lord helps us by giving knowledge. And by that knowledge, we can utilize that knowledge to continue our struggle with material nature and become victorious in that struggle. So then Prabhupada is writing that nowadays it's like, even as far as science is concerned, to good extent, it has succeeded in fighting with the metal problems. Like we have heat, then we have air condition nowadays. Now to fight with heat. For storms, when there were weak houses, they were torn off. But now you have RCC cement houses and strong houses are there. So to some extent it is successful. But then the actual victory is for the devotee. How? Because although we may try to control the external circumstances, but most of the troubles come from our own mind. Na ham jano mein sukha dukkha hetu, na devatatma graha karma kalaha, mana param karanamananti sansara chakram pravartayat. So, Avanti Brahman, he speaks this verse. Naham jano mein sukha dukkha hetu. All the people who are torturing me, he was being tortured by everyone practically. Sukha dukkha hetu, they are not cause of my pleasure, they are not cause of my distress. Na Dev, nor the demigods. Na Dev Atma, not I myself, I am not the cause of my trouble. Graha karma kala, graha, sunny ठीक नहीं है, no, Harau is not good, no, that are not the cause. Karma, not my bad karmas are the cause. Kalaha, it's not that time बहुत खराब चल रहा है, time is very bad. So none of these things are the cause. Which is the cause? Mind. So mind is a material energy, and it can be controlled only when one advances in Krishna consciousness. So when, as a devotee advances in Krishna consciousness, he becomes expert to withdraw the mind from material troubles and focus it on Krishna. So we can always access that pleasure by focusing on our mind on Krishna and getting absorbed in Krishna. So that option is there with us always, but only by following the instructions of the scriptures as we advance in Krishna consciousness. So then what happens is that expertise comes. And that's why Prabhupada writes that the devotee who is surrendered to Krishna, he can control material energy to a very large extent. So that is how he becomes very successful. So that is how Brahmaji succeeded. Yes, please continue with 7, 8, 9.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Text 7. Thereafter he saw that the lotus on which he was situated was spread throughout the universe, and he contemplated how to create all the planets which were previously merged in that very same lotus. Text 8. Thus engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Brahma entered into the wall of the lotus, and as it spread all over the universe, he divided it into 3 divisions of worlds and later into 14 divisions. Text 9. Lord Brahma is the most exalted personality in the universe because of his causeless devotional service unto the Lord in mature transcendental knowledge. He therefore created all the 14 planetary divisions for inhabitation by the different types of living entities.
Now please read 10th also. 10th.
Yes, Prabhu?
You can read 10th also, 10th verse also.
Okay, Prabhu. Yes. Text 10. Vidura inquired from Maitreya, O my lord, O greatly learned sage, kindly describe eternal time, which is another form of the Supreme Lord, the wonderful actor. What are the symptoms of that eternal time? Please describe them to us in detail.
So then what happened is after, so first you took control over the wind and the water, which was very agitated. And then what happened is he thought to himself that now I will create the planets as they were there before the destruction. So they had entered the wall of the lotus. So what he did is he entered from the wall of the lotus into the stem, and he divided one lotus into 3 parts. So that's why sometimes it is said that there are 3 lokas. So first he divided one into 3. Bhu, Bhuva, Swa. These are the 3. Earth, the Antariksh, includes Bhuvar Loka also, and Swam is Swarg Loka, upper planetary system. So upper, middle, and lower planetary system. And then further he subdivided them into 14 divisions, so that different forms of life, they can fulfill their desires. And then further he subdivided them into planets like sun, moon, etc. Okay, so that is how he divided them. And then what happened is the production of particular places suitable for particular individual bodies were there, the 14 planetary system. And this universal form was entrusted to Brahma. So earlier it was a blueprint, then 14 planetary system was set on that accordingly. And now Brahmaji, who was matured in his meditation, began further subcreation by his power of meditation. Okay. So now Vidura starts asking that having forgotten that the Lord's efforts, creation, destruction are accomplished by time factor, Vidura now says that, okay, create all the things, but you are mentioning about time factor, so you didn't tell us that how time factor proceeded further. So I want to understand this time factor, Kal. So subdivisions you are talking about, but you are not talking about Kal. So please tell me parallelly how this Kal or time factor works. So now there are characteristics of time in 11 to 30. So please read 11, 12, 30.
Hare Krishna. Maitreya said, eternal time is the primeval source of the interactions of the three modes of material nature. It is unchangeable and limitless, and it works as the instrument of the Supreme Personality of God for its pastimes in the material creation. Text 12. This cosmic manifestation is separated from the Supreme Lord as material energy by means of Kal, which is an unmanifested impersonal feature of the Lord. It is situated as the objective manifestation of the Lord under the influence of the same material energy of Vishnu. The cosmic, text 13, the cosmic manifestation is as it is now. It was the same in the past and it will continue in the same way in the future. Thank you.
So this time, whose knowledge is actually comes from gunas, from three modes of material nature, is without specific qualities and without beginning and end. So time is like an eternal factor. So no beginning, no end. So time is eternally there. Time is eternally there, material nature is eternally there. Only thing is the direction of the time changes, or it goes only in forward direction as Mahavishnu glances. So that is the difference which happens. So the Lord created the universe which is called himself through this time factor. So time factor is also sometimes called efficient cause. Atat upadanam. So Nimitta is Mahavishnu, the actual cause, and then time factor also helps. So that's why many times people who can't see Vishnu but can see only interaction of time with material energy. So those worshippers of Lord Shiva say that Parvati and Shiva are the cause of all creation. So many Puranas, they show the creation as if it has happened from Shiva and Parvati, and it is not wrong, it is incomplete. Because time's interaction with material energy, with the time factor, material energy changes. But then Vishnu's role is not given very prominently there. So then what happens in due course of time, they show that Shirodaksha Vishnu came. But they will not show the role of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, they will not show the role of Mahavishnu. So such Puranas, they are incomplete. Like I remember when I was doing youth preaching in Ananta Jamshedpur. So that time one of my counselors, now he's a very sincere devotee, he and his wife. So they're working in Amazon. So very good devotees. So see, they both of them, so especially he's from Devgarh in Bihar, which is famous for Lord Shiva's worship. And his house is very near to the temple. So he brought this big Shiv Puran with himself. And he want, now it's like he want to tell that how Vishnu is created subsequently and Krishna more subsequently. So then I become fearful. I never read Shiv Puran. So then I thought, okay, let me see. So as soon as I opened the Shiv Puran and the beginning verses came, before he was able to answer, I told you read it. So he read the verses and it said from the beginning of day of Brahma. Then I showed him Bhagavatam. His beginning of birth of Brahma. So before Brahma, what happened is given here. So which of them you consider is more authentic? So you are talking what happened subsequently. I'm talking before Shiva came. What happened? Then it was like no end. All his questions were answered. So then he had no confusion regarding now who is supreme. So that is how Bhagavatam talks about the entire picture. Of course, not elaborately. Nobody can fully describe creation, but things are given from the root. So that is how time factor comes in picture. And then this verse explains, text number 12, that the energy of Lord's Maya, this universe, is established firmly because it causes Lord. It is divided by time factor. Divided means further creation happens because of that. So one Mahatattva transforms into 24 elements. That is how it is divided. That happens by time factor. And then Vidura starts asking that because the universe had a beginning and an end, the universe must be unreal. How can unreal universe be divided? So Maitreya Muni says no. This universe existed before the devastation, and it will continue to exist after devastation also. So it is not false but temporary. It manifests and unmanifests. So like Mayavadi said that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So this is not Mithya. This is just temporary. So material nature actually exists. It becomes manifest and unmanifest from time to time. Jatasya hi dhruva mittu dhruvan janmatasya tasmata pariyarate natam suchitumaras. Something which is born is sure to die, and something which has died is sure to be born again. So that is how this world is temporary but not unreal. It is real. Yeah. Yes, please continue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, I'm in through.
Yeah, Prabhuji, may I ask one more question, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Prabhuji, sometimes Prabhuji devotees ask that Goddess Durga has created whole material world and everything. It's mentioned in Devi Bhagavatam, Devi Bhagavat. So have you read about that, Prabhuji, that how Goddess Durga has created everything?
As she has created,
Because you are showing a verse also, Prabhuji. It was mentioned there, Prabhuji.
so it is she has created the way mother creates the child. Mother creates the child, but does mother create a child independently?
No, Prabhuji.
So same way. So similarly, Devi's role is there. She creates. How does she create? She creates when she comes in touch with Kal. That's why if you find ask Lord Shiva, they will take this Kal as the prime factor. They will say Shiva only creates everything. Shiva comes in contact with Parvati and now all transformations happen. Do the worshipper of Devi, they will say, no, Devi only create everything. They will not, they will minimize the role of Shiva also, they will minimize the role of Vishnu also. But only when we become Krishna, once we understand that there is a role played by Vishnu, the role played by Shiva, and there is a role played by Parvati also. So that is how we have to see things in complete picture. It's like I know some people here in my local place. So then now some of them are telling that हमारा जो वो है भतीजा है, our relative is there, no, he's in charge of ISKCON Calcutta, and I never heard his name. And I'm in charge of all, and he's like, no, everybody believes also here in local temples, local ISKCON temple only, that no, he's the in charge of Calcutta. And later on we found that no, it's like no, he's in charge of some small department. Govinda को छोटा सा, Govinda's की in charge नहीं है, no, it's like one small department of Govinda, he's in charge there. And he tells, no, I'm in charge, and everybody believes he's in charge. So that's why sometimes different scriptures, they talk about role of a person so much as if he's the whole and soul. So they, in that sense, that minimize the position of other things. Now let us say in a temple, somebody is attendance in charge. One program when brahmacharis come, he takes attendance. Now you can tell about him. He's such a powerful personality, no? Even temple president comes, he has to fill attendance. So and he maintains the attendance. No, he sees who's coming, who's not coming. He's the in charge. And you will feel, my God, such a great personality, his attendance in charge. But one who knows the complete picture, he knows that no, there's so many departments. In one department, no, there is one person called who's attendance in charge. Or let us say somebody is made an offering in charge. Unless until no, he does offering, even president cannot eat. What to say president, even GPC comes, GPC cannot eat unless until he does offering. Why? He's a Prasadam offering in charge. But only one who knows the complete picture can understand. He's just offering in charge. And anytime he can be removed by president or anyone. So that is how these Puranas also, they talk about partial truth. They don't talk about complete truth. So that's why Bhagavatam is considered such a great Puran, because Bhagavatam talks about the complete truth and totality. That's not there in other Puranas. So that difference is there. I hope that's clear to you.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Means different Puranas is for different person, audience.
And different worshippers basically.
Yes, 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 Prabhu.
Like now, if you find Jeev Goswami, even Jeev Goswami quotes from Devi Bhagavad Puran in Tattva Sandarbha. And he quotes such a verse that anybody will become bewildered. So he quotes a verse which Durga speaks to one worshipper. Yam namna namni Durga ham gud gud vati ham yad Vaibhava malakshmi marada nitya paradvaya. So my name is Durga. And I'm not different from Mahalakshmi. I'm not different from Radha. As if Mahalakshmi and Radha are coming from her only. Now somebody hears that, no, Babre, no, Devi Maiya ki jai. It's like, no, he'll forget everything. But what she mentions is just a code. Our acharyas unlock it. What she means is actually saying that we are same category, we are Shakti. And we have different functionality. Durga has the functions in this material world. Mahalakshmi has a function in Vaikuntha. And Radharani has a function in Golok Vrindavan. And ultimately it's Mahalakshmi and Durga, they are the same personality. Mahalakshmi and Durga, but they have different functionality. They don't have same personality. So she's not wrong, but the things are not spoken elaborately. To detail many words. It's not going to be. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Actually, it is not that this is not bona fide. Many times what happens is many of our devotees say that no, Devi Bhagavad Puran is not bona fide. Because now it's talking about something which is like challenging our spirit. It's not like that. It is there, but it is incomplete. So
It's bona fide, but it's incomplete.
Incomplete.
Yes.
Like if you go to Skanda Puran,
Yes,
so
yes.
then Skanda is spoken like now very great personality, and Shiva and Parvati, their family is considered like a topmost. So Bhagavatam is like gives a complete picture. So that is how Bhagavatam is different from other Puranas. Fine. So that's why anybody speaks anything, one good thing which we can always remember is we can always speak Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. Aham eva samevagre nanade satasatparam. So when nobody was there, no Brahma, no Shiva, no one, Lord says, I was there. When nobody remains, I remain. So there is like a golden verse which that nullifies all other explanations. Okay, so now we'll go to next verses. 14, 15, 16.
There are 9 different kinds of creations besides the one which naturally occur due to the interaction of the modes. There are 3 kinds of annihilation due to eternal time, the material elements, and the quality of one's work. Text 15. One of the 9 creations, the first one is creation of the Mahatattva, or the sum total of material ingredients, wherein the modes interact due to presence of the Supreme Lord. In second, the false ego is generated, in which the material ingredients, material knowledge, and material activities arise. Text 16. The sense perceptions are created in third creation, and from these elements the elements are generated. The fourth creation is the creation of knowledge and of working capacity.
Yeah.
So is 17 also?
No, only 16, 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So in this verse, after describing general definition of time, Maitreya Muni will speak out time factor in more detail in the next chapter. So for that purpose, he starts further describing the subsequent creation, because that support is required to understand the time factor. So he says that there are 9 types, and 10th type, which is combination of metal creation and Brahma's creation. So there are 3 types of destruction. First is by time alone, Kal. So every moment, time is taking away our bodies. Every moment we are losing some bodies and getting new bodies. Even according to modern science, every moment we are changing cells of our body. So some cells are getting destroyed, some are getting created. Then there are devastation of all the universes. That is at the end of life of Brahma. And there is daily destruction of Brahma at the end of Brahma's day. And of course, the fourth one, which is not mentioned here, it's called Atantiki, when a living entity goes back to Godhead. So that's like he's free from matter. So there are 4 types of creation. Okay. And then 15th verse talks about how the imbalance of the gunas, Mahatattva is created. Then Ahankar is created. Dravya Kriya Sakti. So all these things we have already discussed. So that is given concisely here. And then how Talmatras are created. Then how Gyan Sakti, Kriya Sakti, they all are created. So already we have gone through that. He's just like giving a synopsis now. He's giving the synopsis of what we have already discussed in detail when we were discussing about creation. So please read 17, 18, 19.
17. The fifth creation is that of the controlling deities by the inflection of the modes of goodness, of which the mind is the sum total. The sixth creation is the ignorant darkness of living entity by which the master acts as a fool. Text 18. All the above are natural creation by the external energy of the Lord. Now hear from me about the creation by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the mode of passion and who, in the matter of creation, has a brain like that of the personality of Godhead. Text 19. The seventh creation is that of the immovable entities, which are of 6 kinds. The fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, creepers, pipe plants, creepers which have no sport, and trees with the flowers and fruits.
Yeah, thank you. So now he starts talking about creation of up to mind and all the 24 elements. After talking about 24 elements, now he talks with something which he has not talked before. But we'll not discuss in detail because detailed discussion will come later on. That is the construction of Avidya Sakti. So that 5 layers of Avidya, we'll discuss about them in our further chapters. Either today or tomorrow. Satadade Angyad Tamasram Adikrit Maha Moham Cha Moham Cha Tamaschagan Vittya. So that verse will come. So they are created. So Vidya is created, Avidya is created, Pradhan is created. Then Jivas are created with their gross and subtle bodies. And after that, there are further creation by Maya Sakti, it's called Prakrita. Okay, so these 6 were the creation of Maya Sakti called Prakrita. Now the creation of Brahma is called Vaikrita. So that is explained from 19th. So Brahmaji from his creation, what he creates? So he creates first immovable living entities. Tatastham. Then Vanaspatya refers to the plants without fruits, flowers, but fruits. And then there are Ausadaya refers to annual plants. Okay, let us see if so you have done till 19th, you can remember till 19th you have done. Now, can you come at the towards the end of the document, Mataji? You can show the end of the document. This one only. Please scroll down. Okay, no, below this. No, this only. Yes. Thank you. Yes. So by this chart, we will understand the things in a better way. So these are the different creations of Brahma. First, I explain them through chart, and then we can go through the verses. So 4 types of creation are done by Brahma. So this verse was talking about immovable jivas called plants. So these plants have certain characteristics. What are they? First thing is consciousness is not evident. And that is the reason until J.C. Bose or whoever proved it that plants have life, it was not believed by the Western world. But our scriptures always told that plants have life. And their consciousness is not much understood because their consciousness is not so much evident. Because they have a lot of covering of ignorance. Second characteristics which they have is they have upward nourishment. Upward nourishment means we supply fertilizers and water from root, and the nourishment goes upward from down to up. So supply is given at the down, at the bottom, at the root, and the nourishment goes upward. So these are second characteristics. Third is that they feel pain when they are cut. So whenever you cut the trees, they feel pain. Otherwise, they may not feel pain. But when they're cut, they feel pain. And the fourth characteristics which they have is that they have unlimited varieties. So many varieties. We can't count. And they are generally of 6 types. First is called Vanaspati. So they have no flowers, but they have fruits. They are called Vanaspati. So we'll find some small fruits immediately start coming. So Vanaspati. Then there are Ausadaya, which are called annual plants, which come once in a year. So you'll find in a specific time of the year when their need is maximum, that time they appear. Like when I was staying in Gosala, I remember during winter season, we would get a plant, a particular type of grass, this much long with long leaves. That was exactly needed in winter season only. Because winter season time, we have, it's like, no, we are attacked by cold wind. So for our lips, for our cheek, we need some cream. Nowadays, people use cream. But that leaf is exactly meant for that. And it is so powerful, it cures, heals immediately in one day. One of our cooks, he got a deep wound because of, I don't know what we call it in English. Hasiya bolte hain Hindi mein. So se palak karte hain, no? I don't know what we call it in English. So by that chopper, so he had cut his hand and there was a big wound. If he would have gone to hospital, at least he would have got 7 or 8 stitches. But then one devotee came, he immediately squeezed 3-4 leaves like that. He had put its juice. No stitch was required. He got cured by evening time. Evening time it became fully black. So similarly, you'll find that whenever there is season for dengue, malaria, so that time a lot of coconuts come in the coconut trees. Because when the belly is cool, you not get malaria and dengue. So that is how these are called annual plants. Some of them, I'm not talking about coconut, but I'm giving an example. So there's some annual plants which come once in a year, which is meant for that purpose only. So they're called Ausadya. Then there is Lata, like grapes. They grow in Lata, grapevine. And they always need support. They're called Lata. Then there is Twaksara. They are hollow plants, like bamboo. Bamboo is hollow from between. Then there is Viruda, something which has stiff trunk and they don't need support. Like eucalyptus trees, no, so long, it's like no support is required. Then there is Druma. Druma means they give fruits through flowers. So Vanaspatya gives fruits without flowers and Druma gives fruits through flowers. So that is how this variety is there. So this is about this verses which we have explained. And further in further verses, there will be description of lower species called animals. What are the characteristics of animals? First is they have horizontal nourishment. Dog eats from the mouth and goes horizontally on towards the body. So same level. Cow eats grass, nourishment goes in the same level. So they have horizontal nourishment. then they have no conception of future deliberation. That means they just look towards immediate pleasure. Cow sees grass or sabji, immediately puts her mouth. She doesn't think, oh, what are the consequences? That's why we have to so much take care of cows. Otherwise, no, they eat all the polythenes. They eat no so many things, and we have seen videos where they are taken out. And what to say of goal of life? They can't think of goal of life. So no concept of future deliberation. Third is they are preoccupied with eating and sleeping. How to eat, where to find food, where to find place for rest. They are preoccupied with that. Fourth is that they understand their needs by smelling. So you find them always smelling. They'll smell and no find the food. And so they understand their needs by smelling. So these are the qualities of lower species, and they are of 28 types. Some of them are one hooved, some are two hooved, some are five clawed, some are birds. Like that, there are 28 types. 4 are mentioned here. So like that, 28 types are there. Then there are human beings, and their characteristics are given here. What are they? There are only one type. So their characteristics is they have downward nourishment. We eat from mouth and nourishment goes down. So that is called downward nourishment. So whole body is, our mouth is at the top of our body. So downward nourishment is there. Then they are very passionate by nature. Passionate means they want to do something in life, achieve something in life. So they can't remain like cool. Like once I remember we were in Brahmacharya ashram and we were looking towards Gosala. So one of our Brahmachari were telling, what is life of a cow? Just eat and pass stool. No, nothing else in life. I told you are so much worried about giving services to Brahmacharis. You want to engage the cows also. At least let them peacefully eat grass and give us milk. Why you are worried so much about them? Because generally human beings are passionate by nature. They want to achieve something in life. Third, they are very dedicated to work. So human beings, if you tell them you can get something easily, they won't agree. So Prabhupada writes that now at many places that from a small ant till an elephant, everybody is maintained by Krishna. Nobody goes out to work. But human beings are so much convinced, unless until we work, how will we survive? So those who are book distributor, when they go out for book distribution, one common dialogue is, Papi pet ka sawal hai. Unless until we have food to eat, no, how will we survive? And to eat food, you don't have to work so hard. But the human beings are people of such nature, they think unless until we work like donkeys, we can't survive. So that's why Prabhupada compares this category to Muda. So donkey thinks unless until I work very hard for my master, I will not get grass, which is available for everyone. So there's another quality of a human being. Fourth quality which they have is they think themselves happy even in distress. If you go to meet a person in the hospital and you ask him, आप कैसे हैं? ठीक है. अरे ठीक हो जाए तो आप हॉस्पिटल में क्यों होते हो? No, if you are everything is all right, why are you there in the hospital? No, everything is all right. So even if they are in distress, they can philosophize. सुख दुख तो लगा रहता है, no? Unless until we have misery in life, how will we enjoy happiness in life? So many philosophies are there. So they're very expert in remaining happy even in distress. So this is for human beings, and they are of one type. And then he created demigods of 8 types. So there are 8 types of demigods. One is Vibudhas, who are actual demigods, like Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Varun, all these people. Then there are Pitris who stay in Pitri Loka, 4 fathers. Third one is Asuras, who are demons. And they are generally people who are rebellious. against Lord Vishnu. Fourth one is Gandharvas and Apsaras. So they stay in Apsara Loka or Gandharva Loka. So they are the fourth one. Fifth one is Yakshas and Rakshasas. So they stay in Bhuvar Loka, Yakshas and Rakshasas. So generally it is said that Rakshasas eat human bodies, especially they say that it is dead, and Yakshas eat the dead bodies of demigods, of Vibhudas. And Yakshas are like the associates of Kuber, who protect the wealth. So they are Yakshas. Then next category is Siddhas, Charanas and Vidadharas. So their characteristics are given in different places. Then those who stay in Antariksh between Bhulok and Bhuvarlok, they are called Bhut, Pret and Pisach. So who has haunted, many times it may be a category. Bhut are different, Pret are different, Pisach is different. And the last one is Kinnaras, Kimpurusas, etc. They have some similarity with human beings, but they are different. Like Hanumanji and other monkeys, they are said to have generally come in the category of Kimpurusas. So there is Kimpurus Loka, which you will read in 5th canto. So they stay there. They are on the other side of Everest. And I don't know, it is not authentic, but since childhood, I heard a lot of stories about mountaineers who were saved by people who were like human monkeys. So it's not like very authentic, but it is their experiences which they had written in their diaries. So maybe by the accessing through Everest, Himalayas, they access the Kimpurus Loka. So I don't know the detail how it happens. And the last one, so this Kinnaras and Kimpuras. So Kinnara means Kinnara, kya ye nar hai, isi nara. Kimpurusa, is ye purus. So they have some semblance to human beings. So these are the various categories of demigods which are mentioned. So we had read up to immovable living beings. Now please read 20, 21, 22.
Prabhu, I have a question on this chart. How will we explain that they feel pain when cut, like the plants? We don't feel their pain, and most of the times we don't even realize. So how is that?
So it is given, it's like, I'll give one very graphic example. How do we understand that? Once there was a big conference of big gynecologists and scientists, and the topic was, when can we abort the child? So when can abortion happen, in which month? And different people were giving different it's like their views. So they came to a common consensus that when the child is conscious, he becomes conscious, from that point onwards you cannot kill him. And there was a big discussion on that for almost half a day. At the end, one gynecologist asked one question. He said, we ourselves cannot define when we are conscious. How can we define that when the child is conscious within the womb? So scientifically, there is no evidence or no conscious meter to really see whether what is conscious, what is not conscious. So that's why this is like something which, unless until we go through the scriptures, we can understand. So scriptures say that they are like conscious and they feel pain when they are cut. That means they must be feeling pain. But because their consciousness is not evident as given in that chart only, so that's why it's difficult to understand. But at least we have to understand that whenever they're cut, they feel pain. That's all. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll go to 20, 21, 22.
Right. Text 20 translation. All the immovable trees and plants seek their substance upwards. They are almost unconscious but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in variegatedness. Text 21 translation. The eighth creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are different. They are of different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know their desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart. Text 22 translation. O purest Vidur, of the lower animal of the cow, goat, buffalo, Krishna, stag, hog, gave animal, deer, lamb, and camel all have cloven hooves.
Yeah. So in this way, they are mentioned how they have different categories. Okay. Okay, so not much to explain about them. Yeah. Yes, please read 23, 24, 25.
Text 23. The horse, mule, ass, Gaura, bison, and wild cow all have only one hoof. Now you may hear from me about the animals who have 5 nails. Text 24. The dog, jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, sajaru, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator, gosapa, etc. all have 5 nails in their claws. They are known as panchnakhas, or animals having 5 nails. Text 25. The heron, vulture, crane, hawk, bass, bhaluka, peacock, swan, sarasa, chakravak, crow, owl, and other are the birds.
So this way different categories are made by Brahmaji. Okay, now please read 26, 27, 20, 29, and 30 also. Yes, you can read all of them.
Mataji, please scroll down.
Twenty-six onwards.
The creation of human beings who are one of the species only and who stop their who- sorry sorry. The creation of human beings who are one of the species only and who stop their eatables in the belly is the ninth in the rotation. In the human race, the mode of passion is very prominent, and humans are always busy in midst of miserable life, but they think they themselves happy in all aspect. Text 27. Oh, good Vidura, oh, good with these three large creations and the creations of demigod, 10 creation are Victor creations, which are different from the previously described Prakrit natural creations. The appearance of Kumaras is both. Text 28 29. The creations of demigods is of 8 varieties. Demigods, forefathers, asuras or demons, gandharvas, appraisal or angels, yakshas and rakshas, sixth siddhas, channas, and with their seventh bhutas, pret, peshach, and eighth superhuman being, celestial singles, all are created by Brahma, the creator of universe. Text 30. Now I shall describe the descendants of Manus, the creator of Brahma, as the incarnation of mode of passion, mode of mode of passion, mode of personality of Godhead, creates the universal affairs with unfalling desires in every millennium by the force of Lord's energy.
Yeah, thank you. So birds like herons, peacocks, they are land dwelling. Birds like swans, chakravakas are aquatics. Hmm. And the remaining one are land dwelling only. After that, all fishes are classified as one only. Okay. So these are explained there. Then those who are prominent in Rajas, the human beings are mentioned. So earlier they were in prominent in Tamas, now they're in Rajas. And then there's creation Devatas, which are mentioned here. So three secondary creations are made by Brahma, and demigods are made from Sattva. But creation like Chatuskumaras are called creation of both Prakrit and Vyakrit. So why it is considered both? Because they are created by Brahma's meditation. So Chatuskumaras and the prime ones, they are considered, they come in meditation of Brahma. So in this way, in that sense, they are creation of Brahma only. But still, because they are created in meditation, which is not a natural way of producing the children in this world. So then they are said that they are not the creation of Brahma. So in that sense, they are Prakrit before Brahma and at the same time Vyakrit after Brahma. Like Narad Muni. Narad Muni doesn't have a mental body, he has a spiritual body. So he cannot be called a son of Brahma in the sense that he has not got any body from Brahma. But because he's produced via the agency of Brahma, he's called sometimes son of Brahma. So Narad Muni will also come in the both categories, Prakrit and Vyakrit. So Prakrit is by Vishnu, Vyakrit is by Brahma. Yes, Lakshmi Mahesh Mata.
What is the difference between Rakshasas and Asuras or devils? Because they both are in different category, no? I thought that Asuras and Rakshasas are same.
The problem with English.
Okay.
Limitation with English. So Danav are different, Rakshasas are different, and Asuras are different. So who is Asura? So those who are against Vishnu are generally categorized as Asuras. And Rakshasas are the one who eat the human beings are called Rakshasas. Man eaters. And those who stay in the waters and their certain percentage they look like human beings. So they are called Danavas. So Danav are different. So Danav comes from the wife of Kashyap called Danu. Daityas come from Diti. Like demigods come from Aditi. So they are like different species. They're not same species.
Maybe Dhanva play Dhanvas again, please. Dhanva.
Danvas are the creatures who are not like fish. They are like human beings, but they stay in waters.
Okay. Thank you.
So you'll find those who are sailors. Many times they have experience of certain personalities who are like very powerful and they look very subtle. So you can't sometimes look at them also, understand them, but they create certain trouble. So they have sense of some subtle powers. So they are harassed by the Danavas. So they are different categories. Okay. So
Thank you, Prabhuji.
thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, fine. So this ends our chapter. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I think now only we can take a break and we'll come at 11:30 and we'll continue with our next chapter, chapter number 11. So mostly we'll cover the next chapter also. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So devotees are back, we can start. Yeah. So as Maitri Muni was mentioning about time in concisely in the previous chapter, and Vidura was also asking question regarding time factor. So this chapter elaborately deals with time factor only. So it's called calculation of time from the atom. So verse number 1 to 4 talk about time having small and big divisions like matter. 5 to 15 are divisions of time. 16, 17, Vidura asks about what is beyond one kalpa. So yugas are mentioned 18 to 22, 23 to 27 durations of Manu are mentioned, and 28 to 32 destruction of at the end of kalpa is mentioned. 33 to 37 discusses about Brahma's lifespan, and toward the end it is shown that how Brahma's lifespan is also insignificant, and similarly lifespan of universe is also insignificant. Okay. Now please read text 1 along with the purport and text 2 and 3 also.
Yeah, Mataji, are you here? Jia Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Text 1, 2.
Yes, Mataji, just tell it. Hare Krishna. The ultimate particle of the material manifestation, which is indivisible and Hare Krishna. Which is indivisible and not formed into a body is called the atom. It exists always as an invisible identity. Even after the dissolution of all forms, the material body is but a combination of such atoms, but it is misunderstood by the common man. Purpose. The atomic description of the Srimad Bhagavatam is almost the same as the modern science of atomism, and this is further described in the Paramanu Vada of Karnada. In modern science, also the atom is accepted as the ultimate indivisible particle of which the universe is composed. Srimad Bhagavatam is the full text of all descriptions of knowledge, including the theory of atomism. The atom is the minute, subtle form of eternal time. Text 2. Atoms are the ultimate state of the manifest universe. When they stay in their own forms without forming different bodies, they are called the unlimited oneness. There are certainly different bodies and physical forms, but the atoms themselves form the complete manifestation. Hare Krishna.
Is it third also?
Hare Krishna. Text 3. One can estimate time by measuring the movement of the atomic combination of bodies. Time is the potency of the Almighty Personality of Godhead, Hari, who controls all physical movement, although he is not visible in the physical world.
Thank you. So this theory of atom, which is like current modern theory, is similar to the theory which is given by Vaisesika, by Kanad Rishi. So there is a Vaisesika darshan among the 6 darshans by Kanad Rishi. So like there is division of matter which was mentioned in the previous chapters about 24 elements, that is a part of Sankhya Yoga. And again, matter can be even divided into atoms. And they have different purposes. So things like time, etc., can be calculated by atom. But as far as the physical characteristics of the world is concerned, 24 elements are more relevant. So that's why modern sciences, it doesn't have much knowledge of these 24 elements. Like for example, in these 24 elements, now we want to categorize any person. So if we see a person and just categorize him in terms of atoms, that he has calcium atoms of no this much weight and phosphorus and magnesium of this much weight, we can't know much about his personality. But if we want to, if we count it according to 24 elements, then we can understand more about the personality. Like by eyes we see. So form. So these different vessels are there. We had this roop, ras, gandh, sabd, sparsh. So we can see a person and define him according to his roop. Then ras, flavor. Gulab jamun. Gulab jamun and burnt coal may look similar, black, but tastes are different. The tastes are not same. So one is sweet, one is not sweet. So roop, ras, gandh, smell. Like people who eat a lot of fish smell like fish. So you can understand, okay, different personality. So roop, ras, gandh, sabd. Some people are sweet singing, some people are not so sweet singing. Quail and this crow, both look black. But quail sings so sweetly. Sabd. Then sparsh is touch. Touch is different. So they have gross age of understanding. Earth, water, air, fire, each other, their compositions are different. Like those who stay in sun planet have more fire composition. We have more earth and water composition. Those who are demigods, some of the demigods like Brahmaji are made of intelligence only. So these define different personalities. And then apart from that, there is subtle body. Let's talk about mind, intelligence, ego. Some people are moody by nature. Sometimes they behave so nicely, sometimes they're like so harsh. So their minds are unstable. So that also defines a personality, which comes in psychology. And intelligence is there. Some people are very sharp, some people are not sharp. And then there are seven types of intelligence also. It's like some people are very expert in analytics. Some people are very expert in designs. Some people are very linguistic. So different intelligence are also there. Some people's intelligence are just works for money. Some people's intelligence works only for discrimination of things. So different intelligence are there. Ego, some people are very egoistic, or different people identify themselves with different things. Somebody sent me some clip of one scientist. No, I think Schrodinger only. Maybe Schrodinger someone. Heisenberg. So Heisenberg also knew the formula of atomic bomb, and some people wanted to kill him because of that. So they were telling that either you give to our country or we'll kill you. So then Heisenberg was moving along with this person who wanted to kill him. He never told that I'm going to kill you. So then he was having a big talk with Heisenberg, and then he started asking about nuclear bombs. So then Heisenberg asked him a question that if your country needs some very big destructive weapon to win the war, but it is so destructive that thousands and millions of people will be killed by that. So will you act like a patriot and still give that weapon to the country, or not make that weapon? So then this person said, no, I'll work like a patriot. So then he said, do you know my theory? What is my theory? More you are certain about your position, less you are certain about my position. That means more you are convinced about your theory, you can understand what is my theory. That means different people have different value systems. Some people value patriotism because they think that I belong to this country. Some people are humanitarian. They value human lives. Some people value their dharma. Some people value their family. So different people have different designations. So ego. So in this way, if you want to define personality, 24 elements are very good. And for certain purposes, this atomic theory is also required. So that's why the Vedic theories or the theory of Bhagavatam is much more superior to the modern sciences. Modern sciences, even materially, can't define things much. They can't define much. So they are very much limited by this theory of atom, Parmanu. Okay, so there's a Parmanu, the smallest particle which is indivisible and cannot be seen. Now this is different from atom. Why? Because atom can also split into proton, neutron, electrons. Nucleus also splits. Then there are pi meson and so many other particles are there. So the original definition of atom was the smallest individual particle, but even small this atom can be divided. But when we say anu or paramanu, paramanu is the one which is smallest, which cannot be divided. So it may be different from atom. Yes. And then there is Param Mahan, which is like totality of all the atoms together. And they all were combined before the creation and after the pralaya. So that is called Param Mahan. There's a Paramanu, the smallest one, and Param Mahan is the totality of all the materials. That's called Param Mahan. The transformation. That's how Paramanu and Param Mahan are described. Okay. So time can be understood in the manner similar to existence, very fine and very great. Water active in dimension. It is all pervading. It is greatest state of matter. And at the same time, limit the universe of it is controller. Yeah. So this is a we'll have charts. The charts will understand it more. Now you can hit 4, 5, 6.
Text 4. Atomic time is measured according to its covering a particular atomic space. That time which covers the unmanifest aggregate of atoms is called the great time. Text 5. The division of gross time is calculated as follows. 2 atoms make 1 double atom and 3 double atoms make 1 hexaatom. This hexatom is visible in the sunshine which enters through the holes of a window screen. One can clearly see that the hexatom goes up towards the sky. Text 6. The time duration needed for the integration of the 3 tracerenals is called a truti, and 100 trutis make 1 Veda. 3 Vedas make 1 lava.
So now atom is given, time is so whatever time it takes for the sun to travel through one atom. Yeah. So then that's called Parmanu. Okay. So Truti, the time it takes to go through 3 Trisan, that will come later. Now you just mention, read from 7 to 12. We'll take it together.
Yes, sir. This text 7. The duration of time. Just give me 1 second, please. Yeah. The duration of time of 3 lavas is equal to 1 nimesha. The combination of 3 nimeshas make 1 shana. 5 shanas combined together make 1 kastha, and 15 kasthas make 1 laghu. 15 laghus make 1 nadika, which is also called a danda. 2 dandas make 1 muhurta, and 6 or 7 dandas make 1/4 of day or night, according to human calculation. The measuring pot of 1 nadika or danda can be prepared with a 6 pala weight, 14-ounce pot of copper in which a hole is bored with a gold probe weighing 4 masa and measuring 4 finger longs. When the pot is placed on water, the time before the water overflows in the pot is called 1 danda. Text 10. It is calculated that there are 4 praharas, which are also called yamas, in the day and 4 in the night of the human being. Similarly, 15 days and nights are a fortnight, and there are 2 fortnights, white and black, in a month. Should I go on?
Please continue to 12.
Text 11. The aggregate of 2 fortnights is a month, and that period is 1 complete day and night for the Pita planets. 2 of such months comprise 1 season, and 6 months comprise 1 complete movement of sun from south to north. Text 12. 2 solar movements make 1 day and night of the demigods, and that combination of day and night is 1 complete calendar year for the human being. The human being has duration of a life of 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you. So you can go to the chart below, divisions of time. Yes. This is like a summary of all these verses. So the time particle, the smallest particle is called Parmanu. 2 Parmanus, they combine to form 1 Anu. It's called double atom. 3 Anus make 1 hexatom. Then there is Truti. Time taken by sun to pass through 3 Trisanus. Trisanus are the one, they say that when there is a small ray of light which comes through the window, and what we see moving in the air, it's called Trisanus, hexatom. So something which looks very blur, very small, so they call it Trisanus, hexatom. Then these hexatoms are visible. And the time is also given 8 by 13,500 seconds. Then 1 Veda is 100 Trutis, 1 Lava is 3 Vedas, 1 Nimesa is 3 Lavas, another same Nimes, 8 by 15 seconds. Animise, Nimise, Chitre. So time it takes to blink 1 eye. So that is 8 by 15 seconds as per Bhagavatam. And according to modern theory, we have some other calculation. But according to Bhagavatam, it takes 8 by 15 seconds to blink our eyes. Image. And from that, this Namasranda word comes. Image. Then there is Chan. How many it will take 1 Chan? Chan is 8 by 5 seconds. Kasta is 8 seconds. Lagu is 2 minutes. Dand. Dand is something which is very much used in the scriptures. 1 dand is 30 minutes. Similarly, Muhurta, Subh Muhurta, Asubh Muhurta, that is 1 hour. 2 danda is equal to 1 hour. That's Muhurta. And Prahar. Prahar is like 3 hours. So we say Asht Prahar Leela, 24 hours of Leela of the Lord. Asht Prahar Leela. So 3 into 8 is equal to 24. That's how we say Asht Prahar Leela. So 4 Prahars are the day, 4 Prahars are the night. That's how Asht Prahar comes. And that is how 24 hours come. Then 15 days consist of fortnight, 30 days consist of a month. So according to Vedic calculation, 1 month has 30 days, not 31 days. And that is why we currently are having Adhik Mas. So that once in 3 years we have this Adhik Mas to compensate. So all the Vedic calculation is as per 30 days. And seasons, 2 months have 1 season. And 6 months are like Uttarayan and Dakshinayan, where it moves the north and the south. And that is how 6 months, 6 months make 1 year. It's called Ayan. And that is like 1 day of demigods. Similarly, how to calculate time is also given. to gold probe and other things. So I was last time when I gave these chapters, I was giving it to one batch, in which one of my seniors was there. So when they introduced that I'm from IIT Kharagpur, so then this devotee said, "Which batch? Which batch?" And he was in the batch the year I was born. So did you see me there? I prove I was not born when you were there. So he's a very big scientist in ISRO currently, and his name also came in Forbes magazine. So I asked him whether he tried to make this. So then he was telling us, Prabhuji, but only one information little less. So in this verse, the weight is given, the diameter of the probe, which is going to probe over copper, is mentioned there. But there's one particular, this is like missing, because of which he couldn't make this experiment. So then I asked him, how do they make it today? How do they calculate time today? So he said that a Schrodinger wave equation, Schrodinger has made certain experiments. Based on that, they calculate the time today, currently. So how much time it takes to vibrate an atom from one place to another place in a particular temperature. That is how they calculate the time today. But traditionally, that was there. So Bhagavatam many times doesn't give all the scientific things in detail. Like in fifth canto also many times devotees want to do research. They find everything is not there. Because the purpose of Bhagavatam is to more mention or connect it to Krishna. So after telling about different divisions of varsas and all these things, then which devotee stays where and which deity is worshipped is mentioned. So that's given more detail. So these things are given in other scriptures. Okay, yes, Daru Krishna Prabhu, your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My point is that I heard that and I read somewhere also in some or that one Muhurta is equal to 48 minutes.
Okay, I
And
don't
here
know.
you are saying that it's 1 hour.
Okay, I don't know. So I'll just check whether you see the work where Murta is mentioned.
I need to check Prabhuji, but I read somewhere. I remember it.
Just a minute. Okay, so this is verse number 8. I'll just check with Sundar Thakur what he has mentioned there. So two Nadics make one Murta. We'll just see from the chart whether two Nadics are one Murta. Okay, two Nadik or Dandas are making one Murta. Oh, so it's like 1 hour only here. As per Bhagavatam mentioned here, as per like calculations, it is 1 hour only. So I don't know. It's like that is how what is given is exactly translations one by one, one by one. So that is how this devotees have.
If I come across any verse, I'll.
So if there is some other
if
verse,
I come across any verse, I'll share it with you.
So then you can share with me. Because what you were telling, I also heard it like before. Like 48 minutes, they would say 48 minutes. So that's what I heard.
Yes, correct. That's
so.
It is mentioned there in Canto 5.
Okay.
It is 48 minutes.
48 minutes only? Okay.
Yeah, 48 minutes.
Okay.
It is precisely Canto 5, 5:21:12. 5:21.
Okay, so 5:21. 5:21. Okay. So Fine. So then it must be 40 minutes only. I think they have given it roughly because in Bhagavatam, these verses, Sukdev Goswami has mentioned things not like very specifically. So that is how he has mentioned it 2 times and 3 times and this and that. So we'll find even in creation also, this phenomenon we'll find that certain places things are given very concisely. And certain things they are given in detail. Like we'll find Prabhupada also many times he doesn't specifically mention the difference between Mahatattva and Pradhan.
Yeah, that is true.
Like even if you find in Bhagavad Gita, the word used is Pradhan for the 24th element in the purport. But actually speaking specifically, it is not this Pradhan, it is Mahatattva. So that's why what one particular pattern which I saw in the scriptures is some places specifically things are mentioned very technically. Certain things that technicality is not so much considered.
Yeah.
So maybe in 5th canto it's like considered very concise, precisely. So you can again tell the verse
5:21:12.
21:12. So I'll just see. So if we have okay, Eva Muhurtena Chatus Trimisal Laksha Yojanaya Nodana. Okay, so in the synonyms it is given Muhurtena is 48 minutes. Okay. So maybe from there I remembered 48 minutes. Fine, maybe we can check with someone who's like a very expert in this particular field. Some Pandits are here. Somebody who's doing Karma Kanda worship, some Pandits are there.
I heard it's in astrology class also that someone Muhurta is 48 minutes.
Okay, then it must be 48 minutes.
We learn it from Bhanu Maharaj. Bhanu Maharaj was also telling the same thing.
Okay, 48 minutes. That was 48 minutes. So although Sukdev Goswami is not very particular about these things. Yes, Amrin Ali Prabhu, you had some comment?
Prabhuji, once in Bhagavatam class, Prabhuji, I have asked with Jita with Prabhuji, his Jita from Vishnu Kailash temple. He also replied me for 48 minutes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So that must be 48 minutes. So here we just did call this chart explain how to calculation given by Sukdev Goswami. So he's not like very particular because he has not used the word 48. What he has done is 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, so like that he has given. So maybe he's not like very specific about it. Because even in the previous one, if you see the chart one, it is mentioned 7 or 8 times. It's like we see here. In the Danda or in the next one, Prahar or Yama is given 6 or 7 dandas.
Correct.
So that
He's
means
giving
that
idea.
so he's giving an idea. He's not speaking very specifically. So that is what we can understand. So okay, pakka now 48 minutes. Even one of the verses, Sonakadi Rishi glorifies Suta Goswami saying that you are expert in almost all the topics. So there Prabhupada writes that those who are Paramhamsas, they may not be very expert in rituals. So what he's mentioning is rituals. So there are certain technicalities, one may not be very expert. So fine, it's like, chalega. So, but thank you for mentioning. At least those who are going to do rituals, you have to be very careful with Muhurta. if you take it 1 hour, then maybe Muhurta will be over by that time. So for chanting Hare Krishna, there's no rules and regulations. But for Pancharatra ki Vidhi also, one has to know all these details. Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now please read 13th and 14th.
Radha Keshav Prabhuji.
Yes. Text 13. Influential stars, planets, luminaries, and atoms all over the universe are rotating in their respective orbits under the direction of the Supreme, represented by eternal Kal. Text 14. There are 5 different names for the orbits of the sun, moon, stars, and luminaries in the firmament, and they each have their own samvatsara.
Samvatsar, yes, thank you. So the chart we can see just below that. So Samvatsar is 365 or 25 days. That is how we calculate the year. We means in the modern scenario. Depending on the sun, it is based on sun. So Vedically we calculate Ida Vatsar, that is 360 days. So the last one. But Samvatsar is one which is calculated by the modern day scientists. Then there is Parivatsar according to Jupiter, its axis of rotation. That's 11.87 years. Maybe it moves very slowly or rotates very slowly. Then Vatsar is according to 27 constellations, which you see in the sky. So that's 324 days. And Anuvatsar is as per moon, that is 327.6 days. So these are calculations based on the different periods of rotation or revolution of different planets. Now, please read 15th.
Text 15 translation. O Vidur, the sun enlivens all living entities with his unlimited heat and light. He diminished the duration of life of all living entities in order to release them from their illusion of material attachment, and he enlarged the path of elevation to the heavenly kingdom. He thus moves in the firmament with great velocity, and therefore everyone should offer him respect once every 5 years with all ingredients of worship.
So this is like about sun. So that is mentioned here about sun in 15th. So what is the purpose of different types of year? So the religious acts are accomplished by the various calculation of year as described in this verse. So like those who are worshipper of sun will do this particular ritual, certain rituals are there which are at the completion of 365 days. Those worshipper of Jupiter will do in so many years. So all these are mainly meant for different worshippers. So the sun in the form of ball of fire moves in the sky, revealing the form of time. So what does sun do for general people? Ayur harti vai pumsa amurdyan astanta yanaso tasrite chadonita uttam sloka vartaya. So for general people, sun steals away their life with rising and setting. But those who are doing Krishna Katha, they invest their time and get eternal time in return. So they make spiritual progress. But for those who want Swarga, what does sun do? So he increased the results such as attainment of Swarga of those who have material desires in order to destroy confusion for men. So according to Samvatsar, another type of year. Okay. So those who offer Argya to the sun, like in the morning they give water to the sun, Argya. So for them, they have opportunity to go to Sargaloka. So those who give offer water to the sun, those warriors who are martyred in the battlefield, those who Brahmanas who perform fire sacrifices, so they all have an opportunity to go to sun planet, which is a heavenly planet, and that is how sun awards Swargaloka for them. So that is mentioned here. Okay. So now Vidura inquires about lifespan of those who are beyond Brahma. Sorry, those who live beyond Kalpa of Brahma. That means more than one day of Brahma. So one day of Brahma is 1000 Chaturyogas. Each Chaturyoga is 43,20,000 years. So 4,32,000 years is Kali Yoga. Double of that is Dwapar Yoga. 3 times that is Treta Yoga. And 4 times that is Satya Yoga. So 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 10. So 43,20,000 years is one Divya Yoga or Chatur Yoga, and thousands of Chatur Yoga is one Kalpa, 12 hours of day of Brahma. That much is the night of Brahma. Like that, one day of Brahma is calculated, and like that, Brahma lives for 100 years. Yes. So please read 16 and 17.
Vidura said, now I now understand the life durations of the residents of the Pita planets and heavenly planets as well as that of the human beings. Now kindly inform me of the durations of life of those great learned living entities who are beyond the range of a kalpa. Text 17. O spiritually powerful one, you can understand the movements of eternal time, which is the controlling form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because you are a self-realized person, you can see everything by the power of mystic vision.
Yes, thank you. So there is a relative time factor. Our Krishna Paksha is the night of Pitas, those who stay in Prithvi Loka. Our Shukla Paksha is the daytime of Pitas, those who stay in Prithvi Loka. So like our 1 month is equivalent to 1 day for them. So on the day of Amavasya, it is said that residents of Pitri Loka, they enjoy nectar. So that is how they survive. Similarly, our 1 year is equivalent to 1 day of Swargaloka residents. Uttarayan is the daytime, Dakshinan is the night time. That's why during the Chaturmas period, demigods are not worshipped. Especially this Adhik Maas, they are not worshipped at all. So that's like Dakshinan time. So our 1 year is equivalent to their 1 day. And now he's asking for what about those who stay in planets above Swargaloka. So their duration of life is as long as that of Brahma. Because at the end of day of Brahma, there is destruction till Swargaloka, but beyond that, there is no destruction. So they have very long life. So he's asking about them. So now the duration of yogas will be mentioned 18 to 22. So please read all 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Maitreya said, O Vidura, the 4 millenniums are called Satyayug, Treta, Dwapar, and Kalyug. The aggregate years of all these combined is equal to 12,000 years of demigods. The text 19. The duration of Satya millennium equals to 48,000 years of the years of demigods, and the duration of the Treta millennium equals to 3,600 years of demigods, and the duration of Dwapar millennium equals to 2,400 years, and that of Kali millennium is 1,200 years of demigods. Yugas are Kali, Dwapar, Treta, Satyug, and demigod years are 1,200, 2,400, 3,600, and 4,800. Equals to 1 Chaturyug, that is 12,000. And human years are 4,32,000, 8,64,000, 12,96,000, and 17,28,000, and total is 43,20,000. Text 20. The transcendental period before and after every millennium, which are 100 years, as foremost mentioned, are known as Yug Sandhyas, or conjugal of 2 millenniums, according to expert astronomers. In those periods, all religions activities are performed. Text 21. O Vidura, in Satyam millennium, mankind properly and completely maintain the principles of religion. But in other millennium, the religion gradually decreased by one part as irreligion was prominently admitted. Text 22. Outside of these three planetary systems, Swarg, Mrit, Patal, the four yugas multiplied by 1000 comprise one day of Brahma, and similar period of comprises a night of Brahma in which the creator of the universe goes to sleep.
Yeah. So okay. So you find here. So for those who are like people in the higher planets who stay for more than one day of Brahma, like those are sages like Bhrigu, etc., Saptarishis, they stay very, very long. So what about them? So then he starts mentioning about Yug Sandhyas. How Kali Yuga is 1200 demigod years, and if you multiply by 360, because 1 year of for us is equivalent to 1 day for demigods. So 1200 into 360 comes 4,32,000. That is Kali Yuga. Twice is Dwapar Yuga, thrice Treta Yuga, four Chatur Yuga, four times is Satya Yuga, and in this we have one Chatur Yuga. So that's one Chatur Yuga. Then the transition period which are called Yug Sandhyas. So I think it's towards the 12th canto. Somewhere it is mentioned that it's 1/12 of the age. 1/12 of age is dedicated for Yug Sandhya. So currently also we are in Yug Sandhya. So still this Kali Yuga has not come. Only when there are fights, especially between husband and wife, then they say no, Ghor Kali Yuga aa gaya hai. So still that has not come. It is only Sandhya Kal. During Sandhya Kal, what happens is other religious ceremonies, they become very much prominent. And as the Yuga proceeds, Yuga Dharma becomes very prominent. That's why currently you'll find some deity worship is still there, some fire sacrifice are still there. But as the Kali Yuga will progress, only chanting of the holy name will remain. Because currently Sandhya Kal is coming. So I'll just read from Vishwanath Thakur. He has given a purport. The juncture at the beginning is called Sandhya, and the juncture at the end is called Sandhyamsa. So we are in the Sandhya of Kali Yuga and Sandhyamsa of Dwapar Yuga, like that we can say. So what are these? They are counted in hundreds of years. The period between these two is the Yuga. In these Yugas, the special dharmas of meditation, sacrifice, deity worship, and chanting are performed. That means Yuga dharmas are performed. The regular dharmas are secondarily performed. That means Varnashram system is become secondary when the Yugas have become prominent, and Yuga dharmas become very prominent. In Sandhya Kal, Varnashram becomes prominent. So currently we still have some Varnashram. But as the time will pass and Kali Yuga will come, Varnashram will not be followed. Then Varnashram will become secondary and Yuga Dharma will become primary. But even in the Sandhya, the Yuga Dharmas are more prominent. Okay. But not as much as still there is some Varnashram at that time. So 1 year of the Devatas is 360 years of humans. Okay, fine. So this we already know. So that's what he mentions. Okay. Hari bol.
Prabhuji, the effect of yugas will happen in earthly planets like currently it's Kali Yuga is going on in our Earth. So its effect also happen on upper planetary system like Swargaloka or Janaloka. Because currently the Sankirtan movement is the Yug Dharma of Kali Yuga, and in Dwapar, Didi worship and Treta Yajna. So it also happened in upper planetary system, like Swargaloka, or in, also only in Prithviloka or Bhuloka.
Okay. So I can give you two references and then you can decide. So one reference is from 5th canto, which says that even in the Bhusvargas, what to say of Devsvargas, the effect of time is not much and it remains up to like Treta Yuga. That means the effect of Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga is not so much. Even in Bhusvargas, what to say of Sargloka. So that is given in 5th canto. Now your second question is about Yug Dharmas, effect of Yug Dharmas on her planetary system. So this is something which I heard from Janivas Prabhu. So Janivas Prabhu, when he just came to Mayapur, so at that time, he was talking to one of Prabhupada's god brothers. So this god brother of Prabhupada was walking along with His Divine Grace Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was walking along with his cane in one hand and he was looking toward the sky. And when he looked towards the sky, he looked at the moon. So by looking at the moon, he said, Kali Yuga is so powerful. It is affecting even the residents of moon. We should go and we should preach there. So then he was, so this devotee who was God brother of Prabhupada, he was telling that most probably Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has gone to moon to spread Sankirtan movement. It's quite possible. We don't know. So these are not like, this is, I didn't read somewhere in scripture, but I heard from these devotees. Actually, I heard one thing from Srivas Prabhu also. Srivas Prabhu is like a RGB in African countries. And he got darshan of Yamdutas before getting darshan of Vishnu Dutas in form of devotees. So that is how he came to Krishna consciousness. So he saw this second chance. He saw Yamdutas and he became devotee. So he was also mentioning in one of the classes, as far as, I think he was only there. His class was there. That he met one Christian father. And this Christian father immediately took a lot of Prabhupada books from one of the devotees. So they asked him, why did you purchase the books? So he said that he has mystic powers by which he can go to higher planets. So when he went to higher planet, he saw in one of the higher planets that devotees like all of you are there. So there is one big sannyasi there. And all the thousands of people are paying obeisances to him. So then when he saw devotees dressed like that, he told that I want to read these books. So from his words also, it seems as if no, there's some preaching going on in higher planetary systems also. And now you can choose to go to Goloka or you can choose to go to higher planets and preach there. Okay. Amarantu.
One more question, Prabhuji.
Haan.
Prabhuji, as in the Satyuga or Treta or Dwapar, as Satyuga, the people of this planet used to do yajna, or in Treta Yuga yajna, or in Satyuga meditation. So, Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita, it's mentioned that when we do yajna, then Lord has created all the planets in such a way, or Brahma has created, that when we do yajna, then the obligation will take of demigods will take obligation, and they will, that is the eat or the food of them. And when they will satisfy, then they give us whatever we require. So, Prabhuji, in Kali Yuga, when we chant the holy name, then the demigods take food. It's like that.
Okay. Okay. I understood your question. So because when we offer the home in fire sacrifice, then by the agency of Swaha, who is the wife of Agni, so Swaha gives the portion to Agni and Agni supplies to various demigods. So does it happen in Kali Yuga also?
Yes.
So I also had that question. So of course I didn't get directly in any scripture. But certainly one thing we know is that all demigods are parts of Virat Purush. So Karma Kanda worship is that supply is anyway prohibited or it is closed in Kali Yuga. So that portion they don't get Karma Kanda satisfaction. But as far as this Bhagavad Gita or pleasing the Supreme Lord through Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, it is there. So now, do demigods depend on food like the way we do it? We are not very sure. Because when we hear the discussion of heavenly planets, we find there is a river of Jambu juice that comes from Jambu Nadi. Then mango juices are there. So do they really want our offerings? So they need our offerings for getting certain powers. So that powers may or may not be there. But one thing we understand is certainly they're satisfied. So that's like very clear. Because Vishnu is satisfied, then all other demigods are satisfied. Now, is that satisfaction the satisfaction of eating food, or it is some other satisfaction that we are not very sure? Okay, Amren Haripu. I hope you got my.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, we are not very sure, like the way portions are given for survival. So, what is the exact role of that? We are not very sure. Because certainly there's one mention about after killing Vritrasur, this Indra takes shelter of lotus, and Agni was sometimes able to supply food and not able to supply food. So it seems from that maybe from these yagyas Agni supplies the food. But then what about other rivers, other oceans there, ocean of different juices? So don't demigods survive on that? Do they always need this person only? So we are not very sure, but certainly we know that this offering of sacrifices strengthens the demigods. That we are very sure. So that strength will always be there because when we chant the holy names of the Lord, mode of goodness is always created. It becomes prominent. And when mode of goodness becomes prominent, people in mode of goodness become powerful. And that is the reason our devotees now in politics, sociology today, we may or may not be able to make much contribution. We can make some contribution, we may not be able to make some contribution. But certainly if we chant Hare Krishna, automatically we create mode of goodness environment. And when mode of goodness environment is created, automatically people who are in mode of goodness will become more powerful. So at least that effect is there. And mode of goodness includes cows, brahmanas, demigods. So if we keep on chanting Hare Krishna, we keep on spreading Sankirtan movement, all these three people will become powerful. Now exactly by food or what purpose, that we are not very sure. Okay. So some of the devotee knows more detail about it than they may tell. At least I am not like very aware. So although my family was involved much with Karma Kanda, but these questions even I didn't get answered till now. Okay. Okay, fine. Anyway. So we attend till 22. So Satyuga, all the religious principles are followed very strictly. And as the ages progress, they become lesser and lesser. So I think we have to start from 23rd. So can read from 23rd to 27th. Who is next?
Arvind Charan Prabhu. Prabhuji, I read. Each and every Manu After the end of Brahma's night, the creation of the three worlds begins again in the day time of Brahma, and they continue to exist through the life duration of 14 consecutive Manus or fathers of mankind. Text 24. Each and every Manu enjoys a life of a little more than a 71 sets of 4 millenniums. Text 25. After the dissolution of each and every Manu, the next Manu comes in order along with his descendants who rule over the different planets. But the seven famous sages and the demigods like Indra and their followers such as Gandharvas all appear simultaneously with Manu. Text 26. In the creation during Brahma's day, the three planetary systems, Swarga, Mritya, and Patal, revolve and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and pitas, appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activities. In each and every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his eternal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others. Thus, he maintains the universe by discovered power.
Thank you. So what happens is, at the end of Brahma's night, as we'll see further also, there is dissolution because Lord Sankarsan, who is holding all the universes over his heads, becomes more and more angry as the time passes. Because this world is created for dual purposes. One purpose is to facilitate the desire of living entities to enjoy. And the second one is to take them back to Godhead after they exhaust their desires to enjoy. But when people don't become devotees, Lord Sankarsan becomes very angry. Why am I carrying this useless universes over my head? These fellows are not becoming devotees. Our devotees are going, Rai Ramanand Prabhu goes and distributes books. People don't accept. Lord Sankarsan becomes angry. This rascal is not taking the book. Prabhu is working so hard. And toward the end of Brahma's night, Lord's anger becomes uncontrollable. And because of that, a fire emanates from his mouth. That's called Sankarsan. From Sankarsan comes Sankarsan. And from the Sankarsan comes 11 Rudras. So these 11 Rudras destroy everything till Svargaloka. Everything is destroyed. So detail is given in the 5th canto and other cantos that we will read further. So that is how they are destroyed. And when the Brahmaji's day comes, again he begins creation till Svargaloka. But at the end of Brahmaji's 50 years, even higher planetary systems, they go inside. This happened this time. That anyway, they will read towards the end of the chapter, all those phenomena. So that time it's like as good as the complete destruction. So after 50 years. So that's called 150 years of Brahma is called Parardha. So after one Parardha, there is almost like complete dissolution. Although it's not complete, but 14 planetary systems are destroyed. But towards the normal end of normal days of Brahma, complete destruction is not there. So currently we are staying in a millennia. Previous to which there was complete destruction. Because Brahmaji is 50 years old. It is golden jubilee celebration of Brahmaji. His birthday is there. So we witnessed, not witnessed in the sense, but we are witnessing that creation after 50 years. But in general, it is only till Svargaloka. So then, in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. So if we divide 1000 by 14, it comes around 71 Chaturyogas. And this is like a duration of reign of Manu along with different demigods. Like in every 5 years, there is change in government in India. Similarly, there is change in government of all demigods in 71 Chaturyogas. So that means 14 times government is changed in one day of Brahma. So that period of 71 Chatur Yogas is called one Manvantar. One Manvantar. So Manvantar, Manu Deva, Manu Putra Sureswara. So Manu, sons of Manu, who are like different saintly kings, Saptarishis, Indra, and other demigods, all their posts change in every Manvantar. And some of you sitting here may be Indra in the previous lives, quite possible. So that is how different posts change. There are different posts. So and then during creation, during Brahma day, three planetary systems, Sarga, Marta, Patal, they revolve. And that is how everybody is created again at the beginning of Brahmaji's day. Okay. Okay, so that is how demigods, the post change by that time. Okay. Now destruction at the end of Kalpa is mentioned, which I already mentioned it. Now it is given from 28 to 32. So please read 28 to 32.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Translation.
please.
At the end of the day, under the insignificant portion of the mode of darkness, the powerful manifestation of the universe merges in the darkness of night. By the influence of eternal time, the innumerable living entities remain merged in their dissolution and everything is silent. Text 29. When the night of Brahma ensues, all the three worlds are out of sight, and the sun and the moon are without glare, just as in the due course of an ordinary night. Text 30. The devastation takes place due to the fire emanating from the mouth of Sankarsana, and thus great sages, sage like Brigu and other inhabitants of Maharloka transport themselves to Janaloka, being distressed by the warmth of the blazing fire which rages through the three worlds below. Text 31. Translation. At the beginning of the devastation, all the seas overflow and hurricane winds blow very violently. Thus the waves of the seas become ferocious, and in no time at all the three worlds are full of water. Purpose. It is said that blazing fire from the mouth of Sankarsana rages from 100 years of the demigods or 60,000 human years. Then for another 36,000 years, there are torrents of rain accompanied by violent winds and waves, and the seas and oceans overflow. These reactions of 72,000 years are the beginning of the partial devastation of the three worlds. People forget all these devastations of the world and think themselves happy in the material progress of civilization. This is called Maya, or death, which is lost. Text 32. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, lies down in the water of the feet of Ananta with his eyes closed, and the inhabitants of the Janaloka planets offer their glorious prayers unto the Lord with folded hands. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So the devastation is mentioned here very graphically. So at the Brahma's night, what happens is Kal Agni Rudra, the fire of devastation, that fire covers all the jivas till three worlds, till Sargaloka basically. And the pastime of material realm is stopped at that time. And then what happens is three worlds disappear in the night, and the condition is divide of sun and moon. So sun and moon, their glare is gone. Then some other glare comes out. What is that glare? As I was telling before, fire emanates from Lord Sankarsana's mouth. So he's holding all the universe, and then mouth from that fire comes out. And the sages headed by Bhrigu, they're pained by that heat. So they go to higher planets. So people from Maharloka, they go to Janaloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka. So that heat is felt. And that fire destroys everything till Swargaloka. Then what happens is oceans start swelling. Violent waves become very, very violent. And it covers the world till Swargaloka. And the Lord lying on Ananta remains in the water with his eyes closed. He's in Yoga Nidra. So there are devastation everywhere. And between the devastation, Lord is nicely sleeping. Hare Krishna. So no anxiety. So he's doing Yoga Nidra. And in this way, days and nights, they pass by. Till it comes to 100 years of demigods. Or 360 into 100 of human beings. So till then, there is a devastation. And Lord, along with his main Shaktis, Sri, Bhu, Kirti, Ila, Leela, Kanti, Vidya, Vimala, all these Shaktis. Utkarsini, Gyan, Kriya, Yoga, Prahi, Satya, Isana. So there are 16 principal Shaktis the Lord has. Lord keeps on sleeping. In Yoga Nidra. So in this way, everything is destroyed till that time. So that is how devastation happens. And they are different from the devastation at the end of Brahma. At the end of Brahma, it's like the sun and moon. The temperature of the sun increases many, many times. And then it evaporates the entire water into steam. So then there are samvartak clouds which are formed. They start raining into steam. Start raining. Hare Krishna, am I audible to devotees? Okay. Only video was frozen. So then there is samvartak clouds which are formed because all water is evaporated and the water drops like pillars. So again there is water. Again there is sun. Sun, water, sun, water, sun, water till everything becomes dissolved in the form of water. So when everything becomes water, then only water element is there. Practically earth element is destroyed. So everything becomes dissolved. So solid is gone. And then water element slowly merges into air element. Water element is gone. Then air element slowly, water element merges into fire element, fire into air into ether element, and ether into Mahatattva. And then only Mahatattva remains. It is agitated. Time factor goes away. All three modes, goodness, passion, ignorance, they become stable. It turns into Pradhan, Khatam, end. And all the jivas, they take shelter around the body of Mahavishnu. So this devastation happens at the end of life of Brahma. But at the end of day of Brahma, only till Swargaloka things are destroyed. This is mentioned here. Okay, now lifespan of Brahma. So you can read all translation purport from 33 to 37.
Text 33. Thus, the process of the exhaustion of the duration of life exists for every one of the living beings, including Lord Brahma. One's life endures for only 100 years in terms of the times in the different planets. Purport. Every living being lives for 100 years in terms of the times in different planets for different entities. These 100 years of life are not equal in every case. The longest duration of 100 years belongs to Brahma, but although the life of Brahma is very long, it expires in the course of time. Brahma is also afraid of his death, and thus he performs devotional service to the Lord, just to release himself from the clutches of illusory energy. Animals, of course, have no sense of responsibility, but even humans who have developed a sense of responsibility while away their valuable time without engaging in devotional service to the Lord. They live merrily, unafraid of impending death. This is the madness of human society. The madman has no responsibility in life. Similarly, a human being who does not develop a sense of responsibility before he dies is no better than the madman who tries to enjoy material life very happily without concern for the future. It is necessary that every human being be responsible in preparing himself for the next life, even if he has a duration of life like that of Brahma, the greatest of all living creatures within the universe. Text 34. The 100 years of Brahma's life are divided into two parts, the first half and the second half. The first half of the duration of Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current. Text 35. In the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahma's Kalpa, wherein Lord Brahma's appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. Text 36. The millennium which followed the first Brahma millennium is known as the Padma Kalpa because in that millennium, the universal lotus flower grew out of the navel reservoir of water of the personality of Godhead Hari. Text 37. O descendant of Bharata, the first millennium in the second half of the life of Brahma is also known as the Varaha millennium because the personality of Godhead appeared in that millennium as a hog incarnation.
Thank you. So Brahmaji also, all of Brahmaji has such a long life. Still, he gives enjoyment of material objects and worships the Lord constantly. But human beings who have such a short life, they are so much absorbed in material objects that they don't worship the Lord. That is something which is Sukdev Goswami surprised. So they don't make efforts to practice bhakti. They don't develop detachment. So many times demigods praise human beings saying, human life is so rare and so beautiful. Why? It is so short. And if you practice bhakti in that life only, you can go back to God. Right? So easy. But despite that, people waste their time in so many things other than practicing bhakti. So even Brahmaji is fearful of time factor. Like we know this famous Lomas Rishi. So Lomas Rishi, his one body of hair falls in one kalpa. He has such a long life. And Lomas Rishi, he was advised by Indra that now why don't you build a cottage for yourself? You just stay between the trees. You should build some cottage for yourself. Some small cottage, may not be big house. And he says, life is so temporary. Death can come at any time. I don't have time to make the house. And sometimes people who have less life, they are like so relaxed, saying, oh, no problem. So that's why Brahmaji is also fearful. So Brahmaji's life is divided into two parts, as we had described before. Each part is called Parardha. First 50 years is called first Parardha, second 50 years is called second Parardha. So that's like how Brahmaji's life is divided into two parts. And okay, so according to Prabhas Khanda, there are 30 days starting with waxing Pratipat Tithi and ending with dark moon Tithi. That's called Amavasya. And the names of the days are given accordingly. So it begins with Shvet Varaha Kalpa. First day in the calendar of Brahmaji. It's not our calendar. Whose calendar? Brahmaji's calendar. So Brahmaji's first day of the month is called Shvet Varaha Kalpa. And the last day is called Pitra Kalpa. So that's according to Brahmaji's calendar. So this makes 1 month of Brahma. So in this way, he also has 12 months, which make 1 year. And 50 of those are called Parardha. So the first day in the first Parardha is called Brahmakalpa. First day in the first Parardha, that means the day Brahmaji is born. That is called Brahma Kalpa, or it is sometimes called Shvetvarha Kalpa also. Shvetvarha Kalpa because it's first day of the month anyway. So each beginning day is called Shvetvarha Kalpa, but the first day of Brahmaji's birthday, birth tithi, is called Brahma Kalpa. Okay. So, and according to astrological calculation, it comes on Shukla Pratipat of Chatra month. Anyway, this is like too much astrology. And then Pitra Kalpa, which happens at the end of month of Brahma, is also at the end of first half of Brahma. That means the previous day of Brahma was a Pitra Kalpa. And that Pitra Kalpa is also sometimes called Padma Kalpa. The last day of first 50 years and the second 50 years of Brahmaji is called Padma Kalpa. So it is Pitra Kalpa only, but Pitra Kalpa happens in end of every month. But the last day of every life, sorry, every Parartha is also called Padma Kalpa. Okay. So they understood that this that in every kalpa a lotus which forms all planets does not appear. Okay. Now further it is mentioned. So first day in 51st year, in the second half of his life, the Padma Kalpa, which is like the last day, okay. So Maharloka, Janloka, Taploka, Satloka, which remain without being destroyed until the end of second level of Brahma, become covered with water. At the end of first half of Brahma's life, those who live till the end of Brahma's life on those planets enter into Narayan along with Brahma during the first night of end of first half. Which is exactly what I was speaking also. So what happened is, at the end of 50 years of Brahma, devastation was only till Sargloka, which happens anyway at the end of day of Brahma. And the people who are of higher planets, Maharloka, Janloka, Taploka, what they do? They enter in water and they take shelter of Lord Narayan along with Brahmaji. And when there is a recreation of the lotus at the end of, it happens only 2 times, recreation. That is beginning of Brahmaji's life and at the beginning of 51st year. 2 times it is recreated, is whole lotus. Till then, whole lotus is not recreated. So at that time, what happens is, when Brahmaji creates all 14 planetary system, then automatically people who are above Sargloka, they occupy the position. And those who are below, for them, Brahmaji has to create bodies. So that has to go on. And Padma Kalpa is sometimes also called Varaha Kalpa. Anyway, we have discussed all these things. Okay, fine. So this is about Brahmaji's lifespan. And now 30 to 42, they describe how this lifespan is also insignificant. Such a big 311 trillion 40 billion years of lifespan also looks insignificant. So that we can read from 38 to 42. So please read 38 to 42.
Text 38. The duration of the 2 parts of Brahma's life, as above mentioned, is calculated to be equal to 1 nimesha, less than a second, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchanging and unlimited and is the cause of all causes of the universe. Text 39. Eternal time is certainly the controller of different dimensions, from that of the atom up to the super divisions of the duration of Brahma's life. But nevertheless, it is controlled by the Supreme. Time can control only those who are body conscious, even up to Satyaloka or the other higher planets of the universe. Text 40. This phenomenal material world is expanded to a diameter of 4 billion miles as a combination of 8 material elements transformed into 16 further categories within and without as follows. Text 41. The layer or elements covering the universes are each 10 times thicker than the one before, and all the universes clustered together appear like atoms in a huge combination. Purport. The coverings of the universe are also constituted of the elements of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and each is 10 times thicker than the one before. The first covering of the universe is earth, and it's 10 times thicker than the universe itself. If the universe is 4 billion miles in size, then the size of earthly covering of universe is 4 billion times 10. The covering of water is 10 times greater than the earthly covering. The covering of fire is 10 times greater than watery covering. The covering of air is 10 times greater than that of fire. The covering of ether is 10 times greater still than that of air, and so on. The universe within the coverings of matter appears to be like an atom in comparison to the coverings, and the number of universe is unknown even to those who can estimate the coverings of the universe. Text 42. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna is therefore said to be the original cause of all causes. Thus, the spiritual abode of Vishnu is eternal without a doubt, and it is also the abode of Mahavishnu, the origin of all manifestations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now in verse 38, it's described even such a lifespan of Brahma, 311 trillion, 40 billion years, is like inhalation and exhalation of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu exhales, Brahmaji along with the universes come out from each pore of his body. And when he inhales, again they enter in the pores of body of Mahavishnu. Gone. Now this is figurative in the sense that because Lord is beyond time, you can't say it's like even for a moment for Lord. But the point is that it is also insignificant. So why such things are mentioned here? To explain that everybody has to die one day. Everybody has to die one day. So that's why we should not make the arrangements to remain happy forever in this world. We can make temporary arrangements. Like for example, if we go to some foreign place and we stay in the hotel there. So we don't go there and say, hey, change the curtains. No, curtains are not beautiful. I want beautiful curtains. And what is this, bed? No, it's not like soft enough. Go and bring some Dunlop mattresses for myself. No, I'll nicely lie down here. And no, what is this? No cupboards are there. No, at least one wall should be filled with the cupboards. So all the cupboards should be there. So we don't make so much changes because we know that we are going to stay in this place for some time. And after some time, we leave this place and we'll go to another place. So similarly, we have to do the needful in this world, whatever is required. But making arrangements in such a way that we will live here eternally is not like a very intelligent affair. So do the needful, practice Krishna consciousness, go back to God. End of everything. So that's why these things are mentioned here. Okay, so and then these layers are mentioned. How 7 layers are there? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. 5. False ego. And the 7th one is Mahatattva. And each one is like thicker than the previous one. Earth one is thicker than the diameter of the universe. It's 4 billion miles, 10 times of that. And then 10 times is water, then fire, then air, and then ether. You can see it will look so small, the whole space. And they all come from Mahavishnu, Karnodaksha Vishnu, who's ultimately part and parcel in the sense of expansion of Krishna. So that is how such a vast thing with so many activities is so insignificant as compared to the Lord. So by hearing all these things, what can happen is The effects are, we become very humble. Somebody who is very proud of his 4 BHK or 5 BHK bungalow, what is that? Nothing, you know. It's nothing. So all these things, you know, we can't be proud of. Similarly, other thing which happens, we understand this world is temporary. So we should make proper arrangements for progress in Krishna consciousness. So that is how another thing which we learn. And we also learn that how so many personalities, including Brahma, he understands this world to be insignificant. That's why even the troubles in this world, we should not take it very seriously. Sometimes what happens is, if we are in a particular situation, we take it very seriously. But we have to understand all these things in this world are very temporary. Like you must have seen sometimes kids who are like studying in class 4, class 5, sometimes get less marks. And I have practically seen some kids sometimes commit suicide. Now, if you come to class 10, you'll say, no, useless result, no report cards, nobody will see in the future. But when kids are there in class 4, class 5, no, they take it very seriously, and parents also take it very seriously. But in long term, it has no use. Similarly, once you get retired, 60 plus, who you are, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about retirement in India. It doesn't matter. And practically, person loses all power. Rather, it is a very frustrating experience for people who had a lot of power. So in Lucknow, there's a whole colony. So my Mausaji was like a big politician in UP, BJP government. So I stayed with a lot of big ministers. So all these ministers, if you look in their lives very closely, we'll find they're so miserable. And people who are not in that post, they think they are very happy. And when their powers are gone, it's like such a miserable thing for them. If they're attached to the power. So that is because this world is very temporary. We don't have to take even the miseries of this world very, very seriously. So do the needful, go back to order. So that's like Prabhupada's formula. Okay, so somebody some questions they may ask, else we'll end here. So we had only one chapter remaining, chapter number 12, that we'll cover tomorrow. So that's a very philosophical chapter number 12. So it will need a lot of time. Okay, so we can end here. Kandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Vancha Kalpadruvasa, Kripa Sindhu Patana Pamani Vaishnava Nava Nama, Srila Prabhupada ki.